Hello, 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 and welcome everybody. Hello, K Mitch. Please smash that like button, everybody, on your way in so everybody knows that we are going live. It not only helps the channel, it also helps with me not having to stop and re explain stuff to new people coming in. So if you smash that like, we can get it out there and then we can get going. Michelle Rubiger, hello, ready to roll, she said. Kate Bell, hello, 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 and welcome everybody. So this is interesting. Now, you guys, I remember bringing this up the last time, months and months and months ago, when I first heard this name in the case, and I said just this, and everybody was saying, "Oh, you're just against the defense and this and that, and you got nothing to back that up." Well, let me tell you, we got some stuff to go over today. Babs veterans, good morning. Hope you are well also. It is afternoon here, but hello, Charlotte. Hello, 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 and welcome. I said, please smash that like button on your way in so we can get rolling on this. It helps get us out in the algorithm, and it keeps things running smoothly here. That way, I'm not continuously stopping, repeating stuff over and over because people are late getting in. So please do that. Good morning, Nana. Norma, hello, 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 and welcome everybody. Good to see so many of you guys in here. Okay, so there's one thing I'm going to get to first, just to get it out of the way. Let me get my screen shared here so I don't have to keep popping back and forth between the screens. Okay, so I have been getting a ton of questions about this. On the trail, Kim, hello. Happy April 1st. I've got a couple times already today, so there's nothing you guys can do to get me got for April Fools. And this is not an April Fool's joke. This is reality. Kate Bell says, a Willow package came. Yay! Haven't opened it yet, but it's here. Good. Did you get the crazy storms? Yes. There's a lot of damage here in Ontario. Tons. I think they still said almost 500,000 people still without power. So that's big. It's not as bad as the ice storm of 1998 was. If you guys want to check that out, Eastern Ontario ice storm 1998, and that's in Canada, Ontario, Canada. 1998 ice storm. We got a lot of what happened there, but not as bad that we're going to be without power. I obviously still have power, but a lot of people across Ontario do not have power and probably won't for weeks or months. So, okay, so let's get going. This is one thing I want to get through first because I keep getting emails and on messages on Facebook saying, oh, the prosecution's not going to use the family, blah, blah, blah. And Bryan Kohberger has every right to have his family there. Yes, he does. Okay. So I'm going to go through this quickly. If you guys do want to read the whole thing, because that's not what this video today is about. It's about the expert witness that is not an expert. And we are going to get some tea on that. It's almost like Ann Taylor is scraping the bottom of the barrel. Wait until you guys see this, okay? So this is, hang on a sec, you guys. Sorry, y'all. That was Mama. And when Mama calls, you got to stop and answer. Okay, so now I forget where I was. Okay, so this is, if you want to pause it later, go back and watch this and pause it and watch it. Go ahead. I don't want to waste time going through the whole thing because this is not what this is about. It's about this expert witness that's not an expert. And this person has caused a lot of problems in a lot of cases. Okay, so this is the defense fighting to have his family in the courtroom. I do believe that there were some comments made by the family that they weren't going to be there supporting him, but he wants the prosecution to stipulate to the individuals listed in State's Exhibit S1. Therefore, the state moves to court for an order allowing the families listed. This is for the victims' families. They are allowed to be there, even if they are going to testify. They have a right to be there. So that's that, right? But the defense goes on to request that family members of his family be granted the same rights as the victims. However, the immediate families of a homicide victims have constitution and statutory rights to attend pursuant to Idaho Constitution Art 1 to 22.4. There's no comparable constitution or statutory provisions affording a defendant's family these same rights. Further, there's no authority to support the argument that the defendant's Sixth Amendment rights would be violated, which is what the defense is claiming. The defendant, it does not extend to the defendant choosing whom sits in the courtroom. In addition, the state may call members of the Kohberger's family to testify at trial. So there it is. Now, one of those people is his dad, which I believe wholeheartedly is going to be there, okay, on the witness list for the prosecution. Now, I will show you, this is Bryan Kohberger's older sister, Melissa. She worked as a mental health therapist. She was fired when Bryan Kohberger was arrested. She was fired from her job, even though she had no, part in this. She didn't know about it, nothing. But she was fired. So this is a rippling effect, you guys. This is affecting his whole family. So this is Melissa. I do believe that she is going to be called as a family witness. Why do I say that? Number one, she has mental health information, things that she maybe had seen in her brother, things that were odd. She did make statements that she thought there was a couple family members, and it was her and her other sister, and I will bring her up next, that were saying that they thought that he could be involved in it. Now, being that this sister here, Melissa, is I think is the older sister, and she was a mental health professional, I think that she would have a lot to add for the prosecution, and I do believe that she is going to be on the prosecution's list. Now, this is the other sister. This is Amanda. Now, Amanda, I think, might be called. I don't know. But she's the one that she played an actress in the horror movie where a woman was brutally made not alive. Okay. What would she add to this? Does she have information? Was Brian asking her different things regarding that horror movie, some of the scenes and this and that? Did he seem fascinated by her role in that? And what I think both sisters are going to be called. I think both sisters and the father's going to be called. I don't think the mother is going to have any part of this. And I don't think she wants any part of this. But Amanda was also fired from her job. Okay. So let's get rid of those. And that's why I brought this up. Also, over here, I'm going to show you this is not just me talking out my ass. Here it is here. The sisters were fired despite never being implicated in the crime. Melissa Kohberger was working as a mental health therapist in New Jersey. And she also apparently wrote a poem after the four college students were, their lives were taken, but before her brother was charged with the crime. Amanda was working as an actress. That's the other sister. And they're not sure what position she was fired from. I don't know if this will take me to that poem. Wrote a poem. I'm not seeing it. Oh, here is the poem that his sister had wrote. And this is the mental health professional. And this is before her brother was arrested. So before she knew her brother has been implicated in this. Bereft of their laughter, there is now not a sound as we lower our children into the ground, small hands and feet buried 6 foot deep into the earth of the world that failed them. So that's what she wrote, right? Still to me a little bit morbid, but anyway. So let's get back to what we are here to talk about. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that so it's not taking up any. Okay. So this here is what we are talking about. Now, I don't know which I fought with myself to figure out which one of these I wanted to bring you first. But this is the reply to the state's response to the defendant's motion in limine number 2, vague and undisclosed expert testimony. Okay? So there are a series of things here that they are fighting. Like I said, I'm going to scroll through it so you guys can go back in the replay and pause it and read it if you want. Let's see here. So Anderson, the initial disclosure about M&S Labs, Ayers, the witness that works at Idaho State Police Forensics. But this is the one that we are interested in right here, Balance. S.A. Balance is an FBI agent specializing in cell site location information. Now, I want you to really understand this, okay? He is an FBI special agent. Special SA here stands for Special Agent Balance, is an FBI agent specializing in cell site location information and a member of the Cellular Analyst Survey Team, which they call CAST. Okay? So the expertise that this guy has is phenomenal. Okay? I've seen him in another trial that I watched testify, and it was like it left you no doubt. Like, this guy is very well educated, highly. Oh, the knowledge that he has regarding CAST is unbelievable. If there's ever an expert, he is an expert of the experts, okay? He worked alongside Moscow police detectives. He was co-located in Moscow. He assisted in a search warrant applications and was communicating with the state detectives at least as early as November 15th. He assisted the state in securing digital information, analyzing information, as well as conducting interviews as part of the investigation. Expert disclosure. The initial disclosure stated he would testify about how cell towers work and interact with cell phones. His testimony would include what records, okay? His testimony would include what records related to his personal cell phones are available and how they are used. S.A. Balance, Special Agent Balance, will testify consistent with the historical cellular phone data provided to the defendant in discovery. S.A. Balance will explain, okay, right here. S.A. Balance will explain the methodology used to create his report. Now, when you are giving your expert list and their curriculum vitae and all that, and what you plan on having them say, they touch on everything that they're going to bring up. So then the defense can get their witnesses to go back into those records that this special agent is going to be testifying on. They have those records. And what the prosecution is saying here is this is what he is going to rely on. And we're going to give you this extra information that S.A. Balance on the stand will explain the methodology used to create his report, which is attached hereto as Exhibit S2B. He attached this. He didn't have to, but he did. Okay? And what the defense is saying is he never did this. He didn't explain the methodology. We don't have that paperwork. And I have said this in the past, just because Ann Taylor says something doesn't mean it's true, okay? And then when we get into this second part, Debbie Clark, that doesn't seem fair. What do you mean, this doesn't seem fair? What part are you talking about? What part are you talking about that doesn't seem fair? Debbie Clark, I'm going to wait for you to reply. Okay, so once they get him on the stand, because to put this in paperwork, you guys, it would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of documents just on methodology that he used to create his report. But the prosecution is telling the defense that he will explain the methodology used. They attached everything that he used to come up with what he is going to say. So the defense has it. S.A. Balance will discuss how call detail records provided by AT&T were used to create cell site maps contained in his report, including his corroboration with the mapping with the records provided. Special Agent Balance will also explain in detail what the mapping in his report reflects. Oh, the creepy poem, yeah. Oh, creepy, isn't it? It's just yuck, right? Hello, Nana, Kate, Summer Dawn. Good to see you guys. Jack, good to see ya. Okay, so they go on to say everything that he's going to talk about. He's going to provide his opinion in general locations. Were others involved in this atrocity, Willow? No. JEJ002, welcome. No, I don't believe they were. That's just my opinion. S.A. Balance may also testify regarding which cellular tower sectors were utilized for the relevant data. The state has never produced an actual opinion by S.A. Balance. Well, yeah, they did. Okay. So it's like, I get it. I've said this, I don't know how many times now. Ann Taylor right now is just throwing everything that she can into documents. In an attempt to save his life. This isn't to win her case anymore. This is to save his life. I think they know that their goose is cooked, and this is just my opinion. I think that they know that their goose is cooked, and at this point, all she is doing, she's doing everything that she can possibly do to get this information thrown out. Okay. So this is what she's saying. Um, if you can trust anything, you can trust a special agent who is an expert of experts regarding cast, right? So let's go down to what I'm interested in here now. So I am scrolling, so you guys can go back and read it if you want. Okay, here. Now I brought this up in a prior video. I'm glad you mentioned that, Lisa. Ray is the expert who is critical of SA Balance's data. Let's wait and let me get there, Lisa. But thank you for your comment. Okay, the state has not disclosed an analyst or where SA Balance will claim the phone was located. These are 7 critical minutes that contain exculpatory evidence. I think everything is going to come together. I trust Special Agent Balance. And like I said, he is an expert of experts in cast. He is an expert. The cast system is very well known, used, respected, and I mean, you just can't get better than that. Okay? So, page 28 shows a map that includes 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, represented by the CS crime scene icon and a yellow circle that represents a 100-meter radius around the crime scene. Balance will explain that he conducted an analysis of all the cell sites in the area that provided coverage to the crime scene and identified any cell sites that drive test data showed coverage that included this 100-meter radius. I don't know if you guys know what a drive test is. It's a bunch of equipment that they take out, okay, that they can see, they can go to the crime scene and expand themselves out to a certain radius to see how far out each tower is going to cover. So, say I should bring up the map. There could be 2 towers that are very close, but one of those towers may not include the 1122 King Road. Okay. So, what they do on these drive tests is they take out um, all this equipment and they go to see which tower would pick him up within a 100-meter radius. Let me bring up the map. Let me bring up the map because it's going to be easier to show you this on the map. So let me bring it up. Hang on a sec. Okay. Where am I? Oh, I'm upside down. Whoops. Oh no. Oh no. Let's go like this. Uh-oh. Okay. I don't know what. See, I am not. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's get back to our continent here. Uh, where are we? Oh no. Oh no. Where are we? Let me just get rid of this. There's Saudi Arabia, so we're over here. We're on the other side. We're over here. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I told you I'm not technically inclined. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Whew! I thought I was going to have to restart it. Okay. At least now I know how to do that. Okay, so look at. I have shown you guys where the cell phone towers are. Okay. There is a cell phone tower way up here. This is where the corner club was, right here. There's a cell phone tower way up here. That would not cover the King Road residence. Okay. Now, there is a cell tower right here. And I do believe, do I got it on here yet? Come on now. Okay, so there's a cell phone tower right here. And if you guys remember, this is the way that Bryan Kohberger came from Pullman, Washington, was along here. But I do know, where's the other one? There was another cell phone tower over here somewhere. Oh, I think it's here at the National Guard. There's a cell tower over here, which would cover some of Moscow. There's a cell tower here, and there's another cell tower up over here somewhere, near the Vandal. Oh, okay, here it is here, the Vandal store. There's another one up here. Okay, so there's one here, there's one here, there's one over here somewhere, and there's one way up past here. So what they did is they had their equipment and they say which cell tower is going to, now there's one here and there's one just over here somewhere, maybe further over here. Which cell tower, and there's another one down here. Which cell tower would he need to ping off of to be shown in this area within 100 meter radius? And that's where they got it from. Okay. Excuse me. So now why does that 100-meter radius come into effect? It's because of this right here. On pages 29 and 30 represent any time that the 8458 phone utilized a cell site identified as part of page 28 between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. 23 separate incidences between July 9th to November 7th. 23 times he was in, because don't forget, he was just scoping it out then, right? As in my opinion, he didn't turn off his phone. The only time he turned off his phone going to this area was the night of the homicides. But 23 other times, his phone was within 100 meters. Okay? You see this box here that I've got, this big box? That's 100 meters. Here's the home. 100 meters. Actually, I'm more than 100 meters out down here. But this is 100 meters around that house. This area is right here. This area, one way in, one way out, is this road right here. Okay? So if we scroll in here, 100 meters of Taylor Avenue. Okay? So from the house, this would be 100 meters. 100 meters out to here, 100 meters out to here, and 100 meters down to here. Now, I think the 100 meters stop at about here, but I just drew the box a little bigger. I don't know why. But anyway, that area is basically one way in and one way out, which is King Road right here. Okay? 23 times between July 9th and November 7th, he was scoping out this area. He was in this area with his phone on. So you would think by now that if he knew somebody within this area, it would have come out long ago. Well, hey, I have a friend that lives in this building here. Totally would have blown the prosecution's case regarding these 23 times within, the 1122 King Road residence out of the water, right? Would have blown a lot of things out of the water, or say he had a friend that lived here, or a friend that lived here, or a friend that lived here, or a friend that lived right here. But there's been nothing that comes out, okay? Nothing comes out that he knows anybody within this within this, everything you see on the screen, nothing has come out. There's been nothing like, oh, well, hey, I was going to see my friend that lived way over here, so I did come down through here. Nothing. They've come up with nothing. There is nothing that the defense has given to give any reason for him to be anywhere in this area at all. At all. Let alone 23 times. Okay? So, then they go on and they say Balance will testify that the 8458 phone, which is Bryan Kohberger's phone, used cell sites consistent with being at the crime scene during these dates and times. And that's between 10 p.m. at night and 4 in the morning. Balance will further testify that between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. were identified by the investigative team as times of interest. Okay? Now, this is where we get into it. The state has not disclosed its analysts. In its February 17, 2025 disclosure, it was these times the state claimed were cumbersome and a waste of time to analyze. Well, they're only a waste of time to analyze to the defense because it's very damning for the defense. Okay? Mr. Kohberger provides Exhibit 2. Affidavit of Cy Ray to support his motion to exclude Special Agent Balance's testimony. This witness must be excluded. So what she is saying, this is Ann Taylor, Mr. Kohberger provides Exhibit 2 to support his motion to exclude Special Agent Balance's testimony. This witness should be excluded. So, to me, pretty cocky of Ann Taylor. Pretty cocky of Ann Taylor when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, Ann Taylor. And I think there are people in this room right now that know exactly what I'm talking about before I show it to you. Okay? I'm going to show you. This Cy Ray is a clown. He is a joke, in my opinion. Okay? And this is why. Cy Ray is trying to project here in his affidavit that he knows more. Norma says, why so? I'm glad you asked, Norma, because I'm going to show you. Right now, Cy Ray is trying to project that he is more educated, more knowledgeable, knows more about cell phone data and all this crap than a special agent for the FBI, who is an expert of experts when it comes to CAS reports. So, Cy Ray, vague and undisclosed expert testimony. I am an adult over the age of 18 and I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth in this affidavit. To avoid repetition, please refer to my training and expertise in the accompanying affidavit of Cy Ray. In preparing this affidavit, I have reviewed the motion in limine 2 vague and undisclosed expert testimony filed by the defendant on February 24, 2025. I have reviewed all of the state's responses in reference to this motion, as well as Special Agent Balance's draft report and final report. I am addressing the matter of FBI agent, Special Agent Nicholas Balance's anticipated testimony in this affidavit and what has not been disclosed. I have reviewed the initial reports, the final report, first disclosure, second disclosure, and now the third disclosure. Despite this progression of disclosure, Special Agent Balance opinions on the relevant issues at hand still have not been disclosed. What? He disclosed it all up here. And you said it here. That he is going to testify and that you have S.A. Balance will explain the methodology used to create his report. I'm reading right here, you guys. Will explain the methodology used to create his report, which is attached here to as Exhibit S2. So, right off the bat, it's still not been disclosed. It's not addressed. I have reviewed disclosures and references to S.A. Balance's interpretations and opinions relating. Here we go. S.A. Balance's interpretations and opinions relating to the AT&T call detail records. They are vague, at times contradictory. At this time, I am unable to identify his methodologies and or resulting opinions on most of his work, preventing me from any real analyst to determine the basis of his opinions. The disclosures in reference to the facts and data relied on by S.A. Balance to form his opinions regarding AT&T cell detail records are conflicting and void of substance. Okay? Now, before I get into this, I'm going to show you something else. So you can take into consideration Cy Ray. This is Cy Ray's affidavit. He is saying that basically throughout this, that, okay, you see right here, affidavit of Cy Ray, right here. Saying that he doesn't basically know what he's talking about. He's not doing things right. He's not reading the information right. The analyst is not done properly. The detailed records are conflicting. All of this, okay? And that his methodology is garbage. This is what he's saying about Special Agent, FBI Agent Balance, okay? The handoff data records during this time is exculpatory to the defendant. There was no handoff data. His phone was shut off. This opinion appears to be based on cell tower connections, primarily handoff connections. No, it's not. And we're going to see that when this does go to court. It's difficult to determine the process or methodology. S.A. Balance will explain the methodology used to create his report, which is attached here too. You've got his methodology. Anyway, he's saying he doesn't have it. There's no mapping showing network connections that he relied. He's just like basically saying that Special Agent Balance doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? My crime time. I'm going to show you because Norma wanted to know, Willow, why so? Well, you want to know? Here we go. This is a Rocky Mountain Computer Forensics. Trax, which is the second name that Cy Ray calls his computer technology app that he came up with to use geolocating and cell phone data interpretations and all this. This Cy Ray used to be a cop. I don't know how he lost his job, why he lost his job as a cop, but he's no longer a cop. He hasn't been for mega years. So he started making his own little app, I'm going to call it, to conduct cell phone data and tracing, just like CAST does, okay? Now, once this, there's a lot of court cases that happen, but this is the next one, okay? The first one is when he called this, what do you call it? Software? He came up with this software that he says is the best on the market and everything. And the government and district attorneys and everything fell for it, and they used it for a long time. It was called Zetx, okay? Zetx. Now, what happened was court cases got overturned because it was garbage. Now, he has said that he has updated it a little bit here and there and blah, blah, blah. He's lied to the courts over and over. But now he calls it Trax, okay? Lisa says, hold on a sec. Cyray isn't saying Balance doesn't know what he's doing. Basically, he is. He's saying, did you not see that? Where he's saying what he did was unreliable and that he should not be able to testify? He knows Balance knows the right way to do things, and from a professional level, Balance's work is lacking. No, it's not. Just because they have, it would be thousands of pages of data that they would have to attach to their list of their expert witnesses. What they do is they give an overview of what they're going to testify on. They give them the data that they've relied upon. I don't know. A lot of people don't know how things work. They don't have to give the whole thing. And Balance's work is not lacking. Believe me, he's going to bring it. Cyray admitted to try to steal information from the FBI to create software, and he had to return everything because he was never authorized to remove the information from the office. Right. Okay. But let me get through this. So once the government dropped the contract with them, a lot of cases got overturned because of Cyray. That he was unreliable, he couldn't be believed, he lied to the courts and everything else. He turned around and now has renamed this Trax. But now, look at Trax excluded from Colorado's courtroom. Mark Plouffe with RMFC testified in a Shrek, Colorado's version of a Dober hearing, which led to a court order excluding historical site location information and testimony based on Trax software at trial. Quotes from the court order include, Trax isn't reliable. The court doesn't find Cyray credible. It's completely unscientific. They've been routinely labeled as junk science by the relevant scientific community. The bottom line is Cyray isn't credible, and Trax methods simply haven't been accepted as reliable. According to this court order, the Trax software is not reliable, its methodology is not based in science, and its creator, Cyray, is not credible. However, Trax is continued to be used by a few law enforcement. So, Cyray's actual testimony. It is inappropriate to state, suggest, or present to a jury any form of estimated coverage area for a cell tower sector. Even when multiple driving tests have been conducted, the results are not reliable, predicting coverage area past and future as tower antenna configurations change daily. Driving tests are only useful in eliminating coverage area at the time of the test. The more days that transpire since the test, the more unreliable the results. It should be noted, some driving test systems speculate coverage area, adding even more uncertainty to their results. Based on his experience and training, it is Mark's opinion the Trax software generates unrealistic and inaccurate coverage area maps, which suggest mobile devices are within specific shaded areas. Trax one-shape-fits-all methodology for coverage area has been shown not to be accurate or based in science. It is clear by now that one-shape-fits-all solution for depicting a sector's coverage shape or without overlap has no foundation in the science of RF engineering. It clearly indicates that neither the shape nor the ranges of the Trax estimates can be even close to reality. This has no foundation whatsoever in the science of RF engineering. Mark Plouffe supports the statements and conclusions Dr. Jovanovic and Mr. Cummings' publication concerning the issues with Trax formula, and it agrees it is not based in science. The court order makes it clear the Trax application fails Shrek and Dolbert. The federal court order, U.S. versus Evans, in similar as to the reasoning why the software should not be allowed in court proceedings. He was a cop and detective. Okay. Cyray could not explain the actual formula. Yeah, he claimed that he was a software engineer. He was not. Like, he was caught lying. Okay, let's continue. Are you working in a case where law enforcement is using Trax or some other application stating possible areas or locations of a mobile device based on CDRs called detail records? Are they using historical location data, RTT, TrueCall, NELOS, PCMD? RMCF can assist in presenting to the court that CDRs and location data are not as accurate in determining a mobile's device location as some suggest. And some of the data is not past Dobert. Okay. Now, there was another one here. Okay. Trax bases its location estimates. Let me just get this off of the thing. Of tower locations. The software makes assumptions about the location at which a tower will hand off a cell phone to a different tower. In simple terms, the software assumes that a cell phone stops pinging tower 1 and begins ping tower 2 when it moves closer to tower 2 than tower 1. Since factors other than distance can affect the handoff point, Trax determines a range in which the handoff is likely to occur. Not how it occurs, likely. To determine whether that range is accurate, Trax plots, this is how this Sci-Rays stuff works, right? Trax plots a 60-degree cone around the source tower and finds the nearest 3 towers within the cone. Then it computes the average distance between the towers and multiplies that average by a 0.97. The founder of Trax testified that he derived a 0.97 by trial and error. He admitted that the calculation is not based on radio frequency principles. What? He did not consult radio frequency engineers to determine whether the number even makes sense. Trax's founder has an associate degree but not a bachelor's degree. He claims to be an engineer but is not licensed as one. He was the prosecutor's primary witness at a Shrek hearing after the court determined that the prosecution's first witness, a police officer who was trained to use Trax, was unqualified to offer an expert opinion about the software's reliability. The defense countered with 2 expert witnesses. An expert in computer forensics examined the GPS location data in Jones' cell phone and determined that he was driving on the interstate when Trax, Sci-Rays software, showed that he was driving past the alleged victim's apartment. So this guy is actually on a freeway somewhere, yet Sci-Rays software shows, nope, he was at the victim's, driving by the victim's apartment. So many cases, you guys, have got new hearings and some of them thrown out because this software that Sci-Ray made, he's not an engineer, he's nothing. He doesn't even consult with radio frequency engineers to determine if what he is saying is accurate or his software could be accurate. It doesn't. The court concluded that the methodology and algorithm used by Trax is not peer-reviewed and has not been generally accepted within the relevant scientific community. A published article described Trax mapping as profoundly flawed. No published research supports the use of a cone shape to represent tower coverage, and no mapping applications used by radio frequency engineers follow the approach used by Trax. No error rates or validation methodologies are associated with the call records that cell phone companies maintain, much less with use that Trax makes those records. The court noted that Trax has gained traction with law enforcement agencies, but only with those agencies. The police rely on Trax notwithstanding overwhelming criticism. Lessons learned. So anyway, I will pin these 2 pages in the description of the video once I'm done. So you guys can go back and you guys can read what I'm talking about here. So I'll finish scrolling through this so you guys can read through it later if you wish. Apparently, per Sci-Ray, he has testified as an expert witness on the side of the state in 100 cases. That's before he lost his contract with the U.S. criminal justice. They had him. He was under contract until, oh gosh, don't hold me to this date, but I think there was a couple of years left on his contract with the government for his software. And I believe his contract would have expired at the beginning of 2025 or somewhere in 2024. They canceled whenever this case broke, and they brought in experts that show his technology was garbage. The government canceled his contract. So, but the damage that he done in those couple of years that he was under contract with the government for his technology, he probably did testify in hundreds of cases. But I don't know how many, I haven't looked into it that deep, but I know there was quite a few that were thrown out because of Ray's technology. It turned out that, just like I just read you, where Ray said, "Oh yeah, he at that time he was driving by the victim's house." No, he wasn't. He was on a freeway somewhere, and he could prove he was on a freeway. But Ray's stuff said he was at the victim's or driving by the victim's house, and there was a lot of cases that were overturned. A lot of cases thrown out, and a lot of people got new trials. And this is having to redo how many trials? Because anybody that was found guilty based on Ray's technology either had their convictions overturned, thrown out, or retried. So he's the bottom of the barrel. Okay? So I'll continue through this. So if you want to read, because there's other stuff here too, not just regarding this. This is the Barnhart, Heather and Jared Barnhart. Do you guys know who Heather and Jared Barnhart are? Because they're witnesses. The disclosures leave out any analysts and any real opinion about user behavior and actions on a PC and opinions of gaps. Cox. That's regarding his Amazon click activity. Dace and White. This disclosure increases her testimony about CODIS. Okay, so this is regarding DNA and analyst findings and stuff like that. Supplemental rebuttal. Dawson is a rebuttal. Deisher works for NMS Laboratories. Gilbertson. This witness works for Idaho State Police and worked as an investigator on the case. Hill worked. This witness is disclosed as a rebuttal witness. The disclosure lists specific clips of vehicles that he will testify about. And Mel, this witness is a special agent within the FBI. His role was to look at video footage supplied to him and make an attempt to make a model identification of a vehicle. My butt hurts. Here, this witness is the coroner for Latah County, Myachuk. This witness works for Idaho State Police Forensic Laboratory. This is regarding DNA work. Martinez, this witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory. The disclosure includes general topics such as evidence collection, documentation, photography, evidence deposition, and lab protocol. Supplemental disclosure. Miller works for the Idaho State Police Forensics Laboratory. Mowry, this witness is a detective with Moscow Police Department. He began working in the case in various capacities since the first day, conducted interviews, and worked extensively with SA Balance. Hello, Cecilia. Michelle. Hello, and welcome. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Cecilia. Nord, this witness works for the Idaho State Police Crime Laboratory. Nolan, this objection is contained in MIL number 6 and is incorporated her by reference and will be argued separately. Seat, this witness works for Idaho State Police Crime Laboratory. Singh, this witness is the pathologist that conducted the autopsies on the case. Sutton, this witness works as an expert in blood splatter. Tanzola, this witness is a special agent with the FBI. Included, what is this? An expert in digital forensics. So they've got another agent here too, Tanzola, who is also an expert in digital forensics. This disclosure advised, okay. Urig, this witness was an examiner with Post Falls Police Department. The disclosure contained reference to 7 devices and a police report. So he's got to be digital too. Walt Hall, this witness works for Idaho State Police Forensics. Testify about the latent print processing. Wilt, this disclosure disclosed prior testimony in grand jury lab reports. Youngling, we're almost done, you guys. This witness was employed by Idaho State Police Forensics. The disclosures list her testimony as discussing DNA testing in general and references to lab reports 2, 4, 12, and 21. And the amended disclosure. This disclosure describes various lab processes such as scene processing, fingerprinting, packing items taken for evidence, DNA testing, trace evidence, tire impressions. The disclosure is general and not specific to this case. Oh, yes, it is. I don't know if you guys remember, East Idaho News was out there when they went back and they did the tire impressions. But they're saying the disclosure is general and not specific to this case. Yes, it is. No opinion as it relates to Mr. Kohberger is provided. So that's the end of that one. So I scrolled through them all, you guys, so you can go back and read these again if you want. I'll continue with the Syray one too. See, like he's saying here, a recent disclosure states page 13 depicts cellular phone usage by the 8458 phone, which is Bryan Kohberger's phone, on November 13th. And Balance is expected to testify that when the 8458 phone interacted with the AT&T network at 2:47, the phone was not at the Bryan Kohberger residence marked BK on the map. Rather, it was southeast of the Bryan Kohberger residence as depicted by the drive test data. Balance is also expected to testify he analyzed additional handoff data that occurred during this data session. That's from the tower in Pullman, Washington to when he came into Moscow, Idaho. This disclosure does not provide an analyst or opinion as to what Balance found when he analyzed the additional handoff data that occurred. So I'm just scrolling. Let's just see what he says at the SA Balance, in accordance with FBI CAS policy, had his work product peer reviewed by another FBI CAS agent, S.A. Kennedy. There are official reports stating S.A. Kennedy did peer review S.A. Balance's work product and signed off as it being complete and accurate. And then he goes on to say, I created the first subject matter expert certification course in the United States in this field for state and local law enforcement. I have taught this course over a decade, certifying over 100 subject matter experts in this field. Part of the course includes a I think he's talking about Balance. That this is what somebody said signing up. The state has not disclosed the required data to support a peer review of SA Balance's work. So they're saying they didn't do their job. You know what I mean? Like, who are you, Syray, to say that these experts didn't do their job properly when you have been classified as the court doesn't find Syray credible. Look at this. The court doesn't find Syray credible. It's completely unscientific. It's been labeled as junk science by the relevant scientific community, which means peers that would go over your work to make sure it was correct. It's been labeled as junk. The bottom line is, okay, this is what the judge said. The bottom line is that Ray isn't credible, and Trax's methods simply haven't been accepted as reliable. So, if you needed somebody to prove that you weren't somewhere where a crime happened, who are you going to rely on? Are you going to rely on Special Agent Balance, who is an expert in the CAS reporting and whatnot? And CAS is widely used. It's the only thing really that, in my opinion, that these big, huge cases have ever used. I think it's the norm. Most police departments, like the Karen Reed, the God, what's his name, Barrymore few, all the big cases that we followed, they all talk about cast. Okay, cast. They don't talk about Trax. I'm telling you one thing: if I got to prove that I'm not at a crime scene, that I was somewhere else, I ain't relying on Ray or his garbage junk software. So that's what I got, you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the description box. I will link these two reports where they talk about cyber. You can find this on the internet. Just Google Trax and Ray, junk science, whatever. Just Google it. There are very few people that use Ray. The ones that do use Ray, it's because they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. I don't think they could have found anybody else that would have tried to go against Special Agent Balance, because the methodology and the software and everything that CAST uses is credible. So to find somebody who is going to come into court and say that what they did isn't reliable, it's not complete, it wasn't properly peer reviewed, it's not accurate, whatever Cy is saying, I think Cy is about the only one that would come in and say that CAST is not what it's supposed to be, that his software is better. Oh. But anyway, you guys, that's what I got for today. There's a whole bunch of new filings that have come out. I have yet to be able to get through them all. There is like probably about 60 that have been filed in the last 2 weeks. And pages. Some of those are 30, 40, 50, 60 pages long. But I am going to try and get through them and pick out the parts that I think are very important, give us a little bit more information. But I do believe with Bryan Kohberger's family members, I believe his dad and his two sisters are both going to be called to testify for the prosecution. And I think it's not going to go well for Bryan Kohberger. Two of the sisters, I believe, had a conversation and told somebody, I don't know now, so I won't say this is verified, but I do know that they had a conversation and they told either a news outlet or police that they had a feeling that Bryan did it. And then for them to watch what he was doing while he was home for the holiday, yeah, his father and his two sisters are going to be called to testify. Mark my words. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're made aware when I go live, when I do updated reads, and when I come and cover stuff like this, right? Please hit that like. It is free to do. If you can afford to support the channel, there's a little heart. Super thanks down below the video. Feel free to support the channel that way. We also have PayPal. All that is in the description of any of my videos. Go check out my new Bonfire store. I did a live giveaway yesterday and gave away a shirt to a lucky member. So go on over there and check out the merch that's over there. And there is new stuff that's going to be coming out for the summer. So with that being said, please give this video a like. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. I am also doing the updated read on the twins. That will be out tomorrow. So make sure you have your notifications on and you're subscribed if you want to be made aware when that drops tomorrow. It's highly requested. They want an updated read on these twins, what's going on. I've got a lot more information regarding the case now. So the cards are going to make a lot more sense to me. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, I will see you tomorrow in that live premiere. So I will be premiering that. So I will be in the chat and be right there with you to answer any questions that you want. And notice every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, come and get your very own live mini read or ask a question. We do that every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Usually go for about an hour and a half. So if you do want your very own mini read or a question asked, make sure you're in there as close to 1 p.m. Eastern as you can get. Okay? So until the next time, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.